Good evening, everyone. The Person County Board of Education is now in session. We do have a quorum present this evening, and at this time, we're going to pause for a moment of silence and pledge of allegiance led by Mrs. Tillett. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you, and the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Dr. Peterson, I want everybody to stand because we have a special announcement this evening. At the School Board, National North Carolina School Board Association, Mrs. Margaret Ratchett was elected to be president. So we did. Well, you still president.
Does that mean we had to call her Madam President?
Yes. So we need to give her a round of applause.
I look forward to being able to show off Person County with some opportunities that are going to come our way through that.
Madam President.
Well, right now we have 4 votes, so we have 4 delegates. All right, at this time we have no public comment, and the next item on the agenda is the minutes from October 19th. Everybody had an opportunity to look over any noted corrections? Hearing none, at this time, entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes from October 19th as presented. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please vote by saying aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none, the minutes for October 19th are approved. We also have minutes from October 26th, which is a special call meeting. Any other corrections? At this time, again, I entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none, the minutes from October 26th are approved. Dr. Peterson, do we have any adjustments to the agenda this evening?
No, ma'am. What I need to provide y'all, we can do it in between the 1 and 2, and it's not an action item. It's just information.
Okay. All right, Dr. Peterson, Superintendent report.
At this time, Madam Chairman and Madam President, we've had our policy sitting for 30 days and have received no additional feedback. So at this time, I would recommend the board approve the policies as presented at your October meeting.
At this time, we entertain a motion for the approval of the policies as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign, the policies are approved.
Thank you. At this time, if I could take a moment, Tara, there she is. If you come up, Ms. Holmes. What I would like to present before we get to the Cognia stakeholder survey is that we had some data that was missing from your PCS 26 year 1 plan that became official yesterday or today? Today, this morning,
Hot off the press.
which is the number of teachers meeting their target score, growth scores. And so would you like to, and you have this at your table. And our goal was 83.
Still not there.
That was our goal.
Yes. So, like Dr. Peterson said, EVAS came out this morning, so we have been diving into that all day today. And we wanted to share this with you. Just as a reminder, when we're looking at teacher growth scores, they get growth scores of exceeded growth, met growth, and does not meet expected growth. And so if a student on average grows academically more than what was expected, then a teacher would get an exceeded growth, exceeds expected growth measure. And if they did performed academically what was expected of them, they would get a meets expected growth. And if they did not grow as much academically as what was expected, they would get does not meet expected growth. So what's in front of you is a split slide. On the left, you'll see that it's listed the teachers for the district, the number of teachers who exceeded expected growth, met expected growth, and did not meet expected growth. And so that is a total of 166 teachers. And so in order for a teacher to get that growth, a growth score, Yeah, these are based on, they gave the EOG in reading, math, or science, the EOC in reading, math, or science, CTE courses, and K2 assessments, so M-class. And so that's why that number doesn't match all of our teachers, but the teachers who received a growth score. And so out of 166, 21 of those teachers exceeded expected growth. 125 teachers met expected growth, and 20% of those, or 20 teachers, those are the numbers, did not meet expected growth. So then if you look to the right on the pie chart, it's the same information, just displayed a little bit differently, but you'll notice that 12.7, so roughly 13% of our teachers in our district exceeded expected growth. 75% met expected growth, and 12% did not meet expected growth. And so just for a comparison, as the state, what's not listed there, and 17% of the teachers in the state of North Carolina exceeded growth expectations. 68% of teachers in the state met expected growth expectations, and 16% did not meet expected growth expectations in North Carolina. So you can just as a comparison. So as Dr. Peterson said, when we put together our PCS 26 plan last year, 83% of our teachers met or exceeded expected growth expectations. And this year, and so as our goal was at the end of in 2026, and that we would be at 90% of our teachers meeting or exceeding expected growth. And so we are currently at 88% of our teachers meeting or exceeding.
That's a 24 expectation.
Yes, I'm sorry, I said 2026.
Yeah, don't kill me. Don't kill me yet. Come on now.
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. So we just think that is a huge stair step. We're making progress, and that is all in the efforts of our teachers, our principals, our instructional coaches, and all of the work that they've put into the curriculum and planning. And,
So last October, when we did the goal report for PCS 26 year one, you asked for us to have 85% of our teachers at the end of this year of 23, we're talking 23 numbers, to be at that number, and we're at 88. This year you told us you want 90%.
that's correct.
So, yeah, we got a little work to do. But we do appreciate all the hard work that our teachers have done, and I think we'll share with you, I know there's a bonus structure that goes with a lot of this, and that hasn't been finalized at the state yet, but we do have a lot to celebrate here in Person County, and our public should be really proud that the product that we put in the classroom every day, and we appreciate what our teachers do every day. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, I asked Ms. Kaiser to come up and start the Codnia presentation. The other thing from the evaluation from me last time, you were asked for where we were with volunteers. You wanted numbers. So that's in front of you too. So you'll notice that in as of 10/26/23, we have exceeded where we wanted to be at for this school year already. And I wanted to say thank you not only to our parents that are filling out the volunteer forms and coming in and being active in their students' life, but also want to thank Tracy and Lori and their team for getting out the word that, we really want you to be a part of what we're doing here in Person County. And so clearly our parents have taken that charge and are actively participating in our school system. So we want to make sure you have those numbers. And we'll give an update again on these numbers in January. But at this time, I'll turn it over to Ms. Kaiser, because one of the PCS 26 goals for year two is now we start looking at the stakeholder surveys, because we've had now two implementations of the surveys as we prepare for our accreditation for the school system. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Ms. Kaiser and let you know how we're doing, and as it relates to what our stakeholders are telling us.
Yes, so as Dr. Peterson stated, we do have 2 rounds of surveys at this point. So surveys were sent out at the end of last year, so during the spring of 2023, and then again during the fall of 2023 now. And those are actually still in progress. But where we are at this point, the first 4 slides that you see here, there's an educator survey, the family survey, the students took a survey. There's 2 separate ones. One's for the elementary students, and then one's for the middle and high school students. And when looking at these surveys, we're looking at 4 key characteristics that Cognia really impresses upon us to look at. Those 4 key characteristics are culture, leadership, engagement, and growth. So when you look throughout these 4 slides, you're going to really see some very common trends in the areas of strength and in the areas to grow for our district. And when you look at those common trends, the areas of strength that you're going to see that are the same or are trending throughout each one of them, the main ones are safety. You're looking at welcoming environment and then also respect. And so those 3 are trending throughout the educator, throughout the family, and throughout the elementary students as an area of strength. Also with elementary students and with middle and high school students, there's also where students' needs are being met as a strength, positive school staff as a strength, and even educators knowing and doing their work well. And when you look at the trends among the areas for growth, we see another trend that is very common throughout the 4 surveys. 3 of those specifically with the educators and the families, and with the elementary students, monitoring student progress through engaging tasks was one that was shown as an area of growth. Positive environment, one that trended throughout the 3 of those was high-level student tasks, so those challenging student tasks that are engaging. 2 that trended between the families and the elementary students was engaging dialogue. Others were modified lessons, opportunities for students to share lessons. So when we look at that and we look at the 4 key characteristics that Cognia gives us, we think about what is it that across all of these has a common thread that would impact more than just one thing, impacting all 4 of those. And so when looking at the areas to grow, student engagement really stood out. And so what we would like to work on for this year and really bring to attention within our schools is that level of student engagement and what can we do to increase it. So what you'll see here in this particular slide are just some areas that are identified throughout several items of the survey, through all 4 of the different surveys, that just bring attention to things that can increase student engagement for those 4 areas. And so that at this point is where we would really like to focus, have conversations with our principals, and really work on how we can increase that in our buildings and throughout our classrooms.
Any questions?
Yeah, are there any questions?
Thank you for this information.
So what we would encourage, this is not an action item, but what we're recommending is student engagement be your focus area for Cognia for the year 2 of the 26 plan. And if y'all have a consensus with that, we will start moving forward with it. If everybody's good with it. Yep, no, yep, okay, all right. We'll start next month with the principals.
Next item on the agenda is Mr. Warren.
That was fast.
Work with accountability.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Peterson, board members. I am bringing to you this evening the school improvement plans for our school sites. I've linked a folder with all of the comprehensive reports of the school improvement plan, so that pulls out all of the indicators that our schools have selected, the action steps they've created, the target dates for those. And I'm not going to go through all of those. I believe you've had those and had an opportunity to review, but I would like to talk about just the process that we've gone through as a district with all of our schools, and just kind of provide some highlights about that, about the process, and about what's included in our schools' plans. First of all, we have just to kind of give you a sense of the timeline that we've been working on. And let's talk a little bit more about what NC STAR is. Some of our schools have utilized NC STAR, some have not, but we've transitioned everyone to using NC STAR for school improvement planning this year. Back on June 15th, we had Michael Toronto from North Carolina Department of Public Instruction came and provided training to our principals and other selected school staff on NC STAR, on the platform, how to utilize it for school improvement planning. so that principals could then, over the summer, get used to the platform, introduced to their school improvement teams. Fast forward to September 14th, all of the needs assessments were completed. And then on October the 12th, our school improvement teams at each school site had their school improvement plans drafted for the curriculum team to review. And we did that, and we provided some feedback to our principals to then take back to their school improvement teams for them to make revisions on October 20th. And then also another layer there, we have a few school sites that have designations of low performing schools and targeted school improvement designations. Those were required to notify parents and then also gather public feedback on their school improvement plans. So they've done that through a Google form on their websites. Those have been posted since November 2nd. And so all of those all that feedback has been taken into account in the drafting of the school's improvement plans, and which is there in the state that they are today for you to approve. I wanted to also just kind of share a few slides that I pulled from some of the trainings and work that we've done with our principals on school improvement planning. I don't know, if you've all had experience in working in schools, and traditionally the school improvement plan can typically maybe be one of those things that we look at every 2 years, and we put some things down, and we kind of check it off, and maybe it sits on the shelf, and we come back every 2 years and we take a look at it. One of the reasons for us transitioning to NC Star is that platform, I think, prompts our school improvement teams to really make these living documents that can truly drive school improvement. I pulled this quote from from the DPI's School Improvement Implementation Guide, that school improvement does not begin and end during each school year. School improvement is a continuous process. Legislation does require that our plans are developed at least every 2 years. They can always be amended and changed within that 2 years. But DPI recommends a continuous improvement cycle containing incremental goals so that multi-year plans can be monitored as the school progresses on its objectives. The plan is not fixed, it is a truly living document. So we spent some time talking with our principals about that, and also that you'll see in NC Star, it's called the assess, create, monitor cycles. If you go to the next slide. So we're trying to get away from just thinking of the school improvement plan as just a 2-year plan that we revisit every 2 years, that it is truly something that is living and breathing. It's a continuous process within the assess, create, monitor cycle. Goals and performance measures may span 2 years, they may span more than 2 years, but you'll see that they do have annual interim targets as well. And that action steps for the prioritized indicators may and really should have target dates that are shorter than 1 school year. We want our school improvement teams to be, their selected indicators, they're setting target dates for certain action steps that may fall, at the mid-year point, or at the end of the first quarter, or at the end of the third quarter. Just depends on what the action steps that the school improvement team determines is going to be the most impactful and when they need to monitor those. We will, of course, still, to stay in compliance with legislation, new school improvement teams will be elected every 2 years, and we will continue, as we have been for the past several years, updating you on our school improvement plans every year. And again, just a little bit more about NC Star. All of our schools have transitioned to utilizing NC Star platform. Some of the benefits that I believe will occur because of this transition are, this will give our schools an opportunity to have a consistent language when we're talking about school improvement plans. In the past, some schools have been required to utilize NC Star because of that low performing designation or that TSI designation. And so we've had two groups of schools like that have had, groups that have utilized NC Star and groups that have utilized the template that we have had at the district level. or just for Person County, and they didn't really align. There was a lot of, the terminology wasn't even the same. So this will create more consistency across the district, which then will lead to increased opportunity for our principals and for our school improvement teams to engage in more professional discourse and professional learning around school improvement planning. Also, NC STAR is very well aligned to MTSS processes, and also there is a lot of alignment to the Cognia accreditation standards. So we felt like this was just a perfect time with our district, going for accreditation, that we could bring everybody on the same page and have some real alignment there with those very important things that we're also doing in the district. And then also NC STAR provides our school improvement teams with a bank of research-based effective practices that can be incorporated as objectives for school improvement planning. So there's a lot of research-based proven actions and proven indicators that school teams can use to drive school improvement. And in looking and reviewing our school plans, you'll see a lot of commonalities even between the schools. There are 12 key indicators in NC STAR, and those are the ones that NC STAR, the NCDPI has identified as really the most impactful actions that schools can take to drive school improvement. We have asked all of our schools to assess how they are already implementing those 12 key indicators. So at least taking a look at those 12 actions, reflecting on them as a school and saying, okay, we're doing really well with this indicator. This is an indicator that we may need to look at a little bit more. But all of those 12 may not have action steps created because, we wanted our schools to focus. This is a recommendation from DPI that, that school teams focus on 4 to 6 indicators. Because if we try to do too much, things aren't going to be done well, right? So we want to target our focus and be intentional about what we're doing. So we asked our schools to assess the 12, but take 4 to 6 to create action steps for that can be monitored throughout the school year. Knowing some of the initiatives that we have going on in the district, we also did ask all of our schools to create action steps for 2 of these indicators, and they're listed there. A401, the school implements a tiered instructional system that allows teacher-delivered evidence-based instruction, and that is all about MTSS. We have a big emphasis on MTSS. Ms. Kaiser and I talking about this transition to the school improvement plan, that was a big thing that we wanted to make sure that we asked our schools to intentionally focus on those and create action steps that will align, because they were doing that work anyway. And so this just adds another layer of accountability for that. So A401 is the first one, and E106 is the second one that we asked all schools to develop an action plan around, which is the school communicating with parents and also working with parents on the importance of the curriculum at home. And I believe that this will help address the needs for the parent bill of rights that we're looking at now for the district. So that all of our schools have those 2 indicators in their school improvement plans that they have assessed and they have created action steps for, and they will be monitoring all school year. And then for our TSI schools, they are also required, and this is a federal requirement or a state requirement through federal law, that that they also use D102, the indicator, to create action steps for. They have to take a look at their resource allocation. How are they allocating time, money, resources within their school to address any inequities that they see in the school. So that's just required only for, and the TSI schools are northern and south. And so they have those in their plans as well that are required. And I believe that's it. Do you all have any questions for me about school improvement plans?
I did have a question. I want to make sure
Yes.
I'm reading these correctly. Now, it seems like most of them have implementation status updated as of 2023, but there are a few that don't, like a few schools. I don't know if I hope we have an updated document. There are a few schools.
You may have some action steps that because some schools have utilized
Mhm.
NC Star previously. Some action steps are in there from previous years. So you may, and that's the comprehensive report, the way it's run. You will have action steps that are it's a comprehensive list. So you may have some action steps that in there that have due dates of 2022, and those schools that have been utilized in NC Star may have that.
Because I mean, when you look at it, it says like limited development, and it has a date from 2020. I'm expecting to see like a date from 2023. Like, so yeah.
Right. Yes. Yes. Some, it depends on. It could be that they assess that indicator, and then it might be limited development. But when the school improvement teams meet, when they assess the other indicator, they may say, okay, we understand that we have limited development in that indicator, but this other one that we have that's limited is a higher priority right now, and so they may have the action steps that they're going to be working on this year for that one.
Are there any additional questions on this one? Hearing none, at this time, entertain a motion for the approval of the school improvement plans as presented.
Move to approve as presented.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign, hearing none, the school improvement plans are approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's next? Elementary schools.
Good evening.
Mhm.
Bringing for your approval tonight, the PRC 071 supplemental funds for teacher compensation. This is our third year receiving these funds. The funds are appropriated through the General Assembly and come through the state budget. The funds are for any certified teaching position paid on the teacher salary schedule. This also includes student support staff, including curriculum coaches, school counselors, media coordinators, social workers, school nurses, and psychologists. It does not include principals and assistant principals unless one of them are being paid on the teacher salary scale. It does not include central office staff, and it does not include pre-K teachers. But it includes everyone else. The amount of funds that we received this year was $1,301,469. So that is going to work out to be $2,800 per certified employee, and we are going to pay that in 2 installments. So they will get their first installment of $1,400 in December, and the second installment in June. And this is for any staff, full-time staff working 30 or more hours that receive benefits. We do have some part-time certified permanent staff that work 20 to 30 hours, and they will be receiving half, so they'll get $700 with each pay period. And the preschool programs are going to use their funds to sponsor their certified teachers as well, so they will receive the same stipend. And again, this has to be approved annually because the amount of funds and the number of teachers can vary. But this is our recommendation for this year, and we just need approval from the board.
Any questions concerning the supplemental funds for teachers compensation? Are you hearing that? Entertain a motion for approval.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please vote by saying aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none, the supplemental plans are approved.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is administrative services. Mr. Clayton, Mr. Anthony.
You should go around to the pictures.
Madam Chair, board members, I'd just like to give you an update on 2 of the projects we have going on. The first one being the HVAC unit vents and other HVAC equipment changing out at Person High School. As you see on the picture, it's a picture of an old unit. And the
Scroll
next
down.
one,
Yeah.
is a picture of a new unit.
Mm, that's big.
So, yeah. So hopefully they'll be more efficient, less service, and last for 20 years. So the way we're addressing this project is in 14 different phases. 14 different phases. We're currently in phase 5, and what we do every 2 weeks, the contractors tackle 4 classrooms, and it's getting more and more efficient as each phase goes along. So we have 14 phases, and we're in phase 5. Phase 8 is the Christmas break, and there's a lot of work that's going to be done during Christmas break. So therefore, it lets us impact the school less on the phases that we are, in classrooms. I'd like to highlight that Mr. Klein is working very well with the teachers and staff, preparing them for the next phase. He's letting them know who's going next and getting them associated to the class that they'll be moving to, emptying the 4 classes that we work on, and then the contractors are free to have those classrooms, and they actually got all 4 units to 2-week span. This phase, they got all 4 units practically done in the first week. So it's getting better and better. Also, Mr. Klein, the contractor, and myself work together. Any type issues that may come up, we work together, such as somebody may be testing, and we'll take the contractors and move them to a different position, or make sure we don't disturb anything that's going on in the school. So that's that project is moving along smoothly. The next project is the ADA and Stadium, Person High School ADA and Stadium project. So within the next month, it is expected that the project site work will begin. We are hopeful that this work will start even sooner. In the weeks to come, we will work closely with the school to ensure that individuals are well informed about the project timeline. So we'll be having meetings with, again, Mr. Klein is our main contact, and keeping Ms. Honeycutt up to date, and just overflowing to all the staff in Person High School on how this project's going to proceed. The last bullet that I have is the contractor will be preparing submittals to be reviewed by Smith Senate. And once that process is started and the submittals are approved, then we'll move forward with the project. So that's basically where that's at right now.
Right. And what you have at your table, Ms. Tillman and I have been in communication with the chair and the manager upstairs for the county. And if I could take you back to, I think it was September 17th, somewhere around in there, whenever you had your meeting. Might have been the 15th, I'm not sure. That's that Thursday. We had the bid opening on that Tuesday, and then y'all approved the contract, the Legacy Builders. And there was a hard number of $11,118,000 that we had to stay at in order to meet the fee structure and also meet what the county is going to the LGC with. It's somewhere around 13.1 or 13.2, whatever that number is. And if you also recalled in that meeting, that alternate 5, which was the stadium, that included the concession stand, was not included in that contract because it exceeded the amount, and that number was somewhere around 4.955. It was like $5 million to do the total project. Well, as Legacy has been working with the architects, they have this wonderful thing called value engineering. It's a wonderful tool where a contractor is able to say, I might be able to do something a little bit different as long as the architect is in agreement with it. And what you have in front of you is all the VEs that has been altered which freed up enough money, $2.214325, $2,214,325, along with the contingency that was available with the original contract. Now we're able to do the bleachers part of the stadium. And so, as good public stewards we are with funding, and I think you've made it very clear that you wanted to be transparent about what was going on. We gave this update to the stakeholders at the high school. And some of the stakeholders, specifically some of the members of the Rocket Club, wanted to know, was there any way that we could possibly do the concession stand with bathrooms as part of it? Because the logic would say, well, why you got everything torn up, why don't we just go ahead and do it? And so we made communication that we would, as a board, we would not exceed the original $38 million that we were asking for, but that we would find the additional money needed to cover the concession stands with future projects. We can delineate from some of the planning that we've done. And in doing so, we would be able to cover the $2,335,000 that would be needed to do the concession. I have been asked, well, they asked for a formal request. We gave it to them through email. Now I have been asked to go in front of commissioners on Tuesday. I don't know why. I got a feeling. My granddad used to tell me, you're good. Your leadership skills are good when you can smell rain before you see clouds. So I'm smelling the rain a little bit on this one. But I think we have an opportunity if the commissioners are so inclined to do that, we would be able to do everything. One of the questions I have received is, why are we asking? We're asking for $3 additional million. And, because if it all is going to take is $2,355,000 to do it, why are you asking for the additional money? Well, we're asking for the additional money because part of the stadium, which is the bleachers, includes all the contingency money that was left over from the original contract. So if something were to go wrong, there's not a buffer there anymore. And it has been said all along that if something were to go wrong, then we would have to look at the other alternates that's available to pull money from. So that's the reason why we're asking for what we're asking for. But I just want to give you an update on that. And that's probably the reason why we hadn't started yet, because we originally had this meeting on November the 6th, and then we had a follow-up 2 weeks ago. And we asked the contractor, which is Legacy Builders, to let us get through the meeting with the commissioners so we know what we're dealing with, because we may have to come back and make some decisions if that funding is not there. I have spoken with Ed and the architect, and I have spoken to Chris a little bit. I would be a little uneasy going into the project as it's written as option 1 here with no contingency. I tend to value older folks' opinion, and there's a lot of people that has been telling me, do you realize what's under that school? And I'm talking about the rock. And so I said no. So I got an hour talking about veins and all this other stuff. So, but I think it's important to also understand the question is, why are we just not adding to what we have? Right now, our press box is not ADA compliant. And how we get it compliant is pushing it back to grade, so that someone who wants to participate in the press box, whether it's a coach, whether it's another team coming in doing a broadcast or whatnot, then they would be able to enter into our press box from the service road behind the school. And then you would build, and that's the reason why there has to be some alternative to what we have in the space there. If it comes down to where we need to look at, because of money, that we need to look at some alternatives, then that's great. I will be candid, and I would say that I wish bathrooms were built back when the stadium was done, because we wouldn't be asking for the money otherwise, but it is what it is. But I think this year is probably the 1 year since I've been here that the attendance in football is up. And we're having a lot of non-parent folks attending ball games. And they are very concerned about the stadium on the ground and leaning forward to watch a football game. And then the third thing that they're really concerned about, and there's not a Monday that goes by that is not documented or we don't pick up a phone when somebody says, it sure would be nice to be able to use a bathroom other than a porta potty. Because the only alternative is to go down on the track, walk around to the baseball field, and use the bathrooms over by the softball and baseball fields. And that's what our visitors get to use, but yet our home side don't have them. So I don't know what Tuesday's about. I don't know what else I could say to them other than the letter that I've written, but I will go there on your stay, and I will smile, and I will be nice. The commissioners have been awesome. I mean, they have been awesome with our local funding. I know some of the challenges they have with money. But I understand the comments that they have been getting and we have been getting about, it would be nice to go ahead and finish this up. And what I will express next week is we're not asking for any additional money over the $38 million that we have been talking about on total ATM projects. We will make it work within that money. So I just want to let you know what we're doing on Tuesday in case you see it in the paper on Thursday.
I know you know too, this bathroom project, that on the homestead side has been a Christmas list for 25 years at least, at a minimum. And I think maybe all that rock has something to do with why we don't have them, because we have done, site evaluations and stuff trying to find a location. And I think probably the rock was one of the issues that we have.
Well, from my understanding of the stadium project, and Chris can add to it if you like, is that everything in the middle and on the sides come out. And then we try to re-emulate what we have with bleachers on top of very similar to what we have. But again, there's will be if you're demoing things while you've already got everybody there. The question is, why are we just not going ahead and doing it all at one time? And I will be honest, and I'll be honest on Tuesday when people ask me that question. And because they refer to why is the Board of Education not doing that, and my comment has been we're not the revenue source for the project. We certainly want to be good partners and good stewards of funding that comes from us from upstairs, but you don't have taxing authority to raise the money to be able to do it, and that has been my response. So we'll provide an update on Tuesday, unless you want to watch us on YouTube. Or if you want to come, that would be great. I think that's the morning meeting next week, 9 o'clock meeting. Other than that, Madam Chairman and board members, we have no additional items before you. And we recommend at this time that we go into closed session to consult with our attorney on personnel and student information.
All right, this time we entertain a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by same sign, here none, we went to. We have now returned back to open session. Dr. Peterson, administrative reports and recommendations.
At this time, Madam Chairman, I recommend the board approve consent items 7E, 1A, and B.
I'm entertaining a motion to approve items 7E, 1A through B.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign, hearing none. Those superintendent reports are approved. And as we end November meeting, we're gonna say happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your days off.
Yes.
Yes. Right, this time we entertain a motion to adjourn. We will adjourn. Second, all those in favor, please vote by saying aye. Opposed by same sign, hearing none, meeting is